Her anger got the best of her, a slap, and I walked away, leaving her in a gown of regret. It was supposed to be one of the best nights of our lives. At least, that's what we both had planned. The grand gala, the fancy ballroom, the excitement of being surrounded by people who would marvel at our perfect life. Emma, with her elegance and grace in that stunning red dress that made her look like she stepped out of a fairy tale, and me, proud to have her on my arm. But as soon as we arrived, something shifted. We had been arguing in the car for almost the entire drive, but I tried to push it aside. She was upset because I had been late, again. I had promised her I'd be on time for once, but I got caught in a work meeting that ran longer than expected. I'd apologized countless times, but Emma didn't want to hear it. She didn't care about my reasons. She just saw the broken promises. She had been pushing me for weeks to take this evening seriously, and now I had let her down in front of everyone. I tried to reassure her. Emma, we're here now. Let's just forget about it, okay? We're at the gala. We'll have fun. But she wasn't having it. She kept walking ahead of me, her heels clicking sharply on the marble floor, ignoring my attempts to calm her down. I could see the tension in her shoulders, the way her jaw tightened with each step we took. It was as if everything I'd done to try and make things right just added fuel to the fire. I thought it was just another argument that would blow over in time, but I should have known better. Emma's anger was always a slow burn, simmering beneath the surface until it eventually erupted. As we entered the ballroom, I felt her pull away from me. She'd barely said a word since we stepped inside, and the silence was suffocating. I watched her as she mingled with the other guests, smiling at them with that practiced grace, while all I could do was stand there feeling like an outsider in my own life. Finally, after an hour of awkward silence and strained conversations, she couldn't hold it in anymore. We were standing near the edge of the dance floor, watching people spin around in perfect harmony. I reached for her hand, hoping to bridge the gap between us. Emma, can we talk, please? I said, my voice low but desperate. She turned toward me, her eyes blazing with frustration. What's there to talk about, huh? She snapped. You've already made it clear how little I matter to you. It's always work, always your damn meetings, but you never seem to care about what I need, what I want. I blinked, taken aback by the venom in her words. That's not true, I said quickly. You know I love you, right? I'm trying. Trying? She interrupted, stepping closer, her face now inches from mine. Don't tell me you're trying, because if you were really trying, you'd show it. You wouldn't keep making excuses. I'm not one of your projects. I'm your wife. And right now, you're acting like I'm nothing more than an afterthought. Her words stung more than I expected. My hands clenched into fists at my sides as I tried to hold myself together, not wanting to cause a scene. But Emma wasn't finished. She was on a rampage now, each word sharper than the last. You know what? I don't need you tonight. I don't need your empty apologies or your pathetic excuses. I can do this alone, she said, her voice rising with anger. Before I could respond, she slapped me, hard. The sound of it echoed through the ballroom, leaving a stunned silence in its wake. My face stung, and I could feel the hot flush of embarrassment spreading across my skin. The shock of it paralyzed me for a moment, unable to process what had just happened. In front of all those people, in front of everyone she was trying to impress, she had hit me. And just like that, I knew. This wasn't about the gala, the lateness, or the argument. It was about something deeper, something we had been avoiding for a long time. I looked at her, her chest heaving with anger, her hand still raised as if she were ready to strike again. But all I could feel was a cold detachment settling over me. There was no coming back from this. Not after this. I took a step back, unable to speak, my mind racing. Without saying another word, I turned around and walked away, leaving her standing there, alone. I heard her call my name, but I didn't stop. I couldn't. I made my way out of the ballroom, out of the event, and into the cold night air. I couldn't even remember how I got to my car. All I could think about was how I had been humiliated, how I had allowed myself to be belittled like that, and how, in that one moment, Emma had shown me something I hadn't seen before. Her anger had taken over completely, and it had made her forget what we were supposed to be. The days that followed were filled with emptiness. Emma tried calling me repeatedly, but I couldn't bring myself to answer. Every time I saw her name pop up on my phone, my heart clenched in my chest. I wasn't ready to hear her voice, not yet, not after what had happened. It wasn't just the slap. It was everything that had led up to it, the years of frustration, the unspoken resentment, the way we had drifted apart, despite everything. I didn't go back to the apartment. I stayed at a friend's place for the first few nights, thinking things through, giving myself space to clear my head. The anger I had felt that night had turned into something colder, a bitter disappointment, an understanding that I couldn't keep pretending that we were still the same couple we had been. I had tried to make it work, but now I was questioning everything. Emma, on the other hand, had turned into someone I barely recognized. She sent me texts, long apologies filled with regret, but they only seemed to come after the fact. "I didn't mean it," she wrote. "I was angry, and I shouldn't have hit you. Please don't leave me." But the apology felt hollow. It didn't erase the sting of that slap, the public humiliation, the way she had let her anger win. There was something deeper in her words, a pattern I had ignored for far too long, the way she used anger as a shield, as a weapon. It wasn't the first time she had let her emotions get the best of her, but it was the first time I had truly felt it. I finally agreed to meet her. We sat down in a small cafe, a neutral place, where we could talk without distractions. She looked different, as if the weight of the situation had finally hit her. Her eyes were red, tired, and there was an uncomfortable silence between us. "I'm sorry," she said, her voice thick with emotion. "I never meant for things to go this far. I don't know what happened to us. I was angry and I lashed out. I can't take it back, and I know that. But I want to fix this. Please tell me you'll at least consider trying again." I looked at her, really looked at her for the first time in days. The woman sitting in front of me was broken, regret etched across her face, and yet, despite everything, I still loved her. But love, I realized, wasn't enough anymore. Not if it meant enduring more of this toxicity. "Emma," I said softly, my voice steady but firm. "I can't just pretend like everything's fine. What happened? It wasn't just a mistake. It's part of a pattern, and I can't keep putting myself through this. I need space. I need time to figure out who I am without all the anger, the games, the drama." Her eyes welled up with tears as she reached out for my hand, but I pulled away. I wasn't angry anymore, just numb. I had done everything I could to salvage what we had, but in the end, I couldn't save us from ourselves. "I think it's time for us to let go," I said quietly, standing up from the table. "I'm sorry, but I can't be the person you need me to be anymore, and you can't be the person I need either." I turned and walked out, leaving her sitting there, alone, in that gown of regret. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more watching videos.